So last year, or was it the year before that? I don't remember. I made a video on Tim Pool. He had a terrible movie opinion, so I made a video on it. It was on the movie Dune, which was recent at the time. And today we're doing the same thing with the Super Mario Brothers movie. Because, oh boy, Tim does not disappoint. He is, if nothing else, consistently bad with his movie takes.
Bienvenido nella mia recensione del peggior video di Tim Pool mai visto.
I think that might have been close enough to actual the sentence I wanted to say.
Hey, Mario. Hey, I learned Italian. Hey, spaghetti, meatball.
All right, so good old Timothy Pool is making the claim that the Super Mario Brothers movie is woke.
It is in line with what you'd expect from feminist, leftist perspectives in movie writing.
Tim's video is 30 minutes long, and he talks about a lot of different points of the movie. Not at random, but he mentions stuff throughout the video multiple times, so it's kind of spaghettied all in there. And I'm going to try to unravel it and make it like a straight line as much as possible. I have notes. Tim starts out by saying that, I thought the narrative was that the movie was woke.
The movie did it because it was anti-woke. Which is really strange to me because the narrative for the longest time was that the movie was woke girl boss feminism garbage.
Of course, referring to before the movie actually came out and all we had were the trailers and people were reacting to what they were seeing without actually having seen the movie. It's kind of irrelevant. The movie's out now. You can just watch it. Just base your opinions on that. Not whether or not, people used to say it was woke before they saw it. Now they're saying it's not woke. Once they saw it, what's the deal? So his woke rating, he rates it a 6 out of 10 on the woke scale.
It's fairly woke.
So what's woke about the movie, according to Tim? Tim mentions the fact that the movie is woke because of Princess Peach being a girl boss. And he mentions this 1,000 times during the video, which is funny because that's just like one aspect of wokeness, the feminisms, because there's a lot of more stuff that would be classified as woke. So this getting a 6 out of 10 when it's only like one aspect of woke, that's kind of crazy. People don't comment on other people's races and how that affects them socio-economically. There's no cringy line where someone says, you stole from me, and then I stole from you, and then you stole from somebody else. And the bitch goes, that's capitalism. None of that happens. So there's no moment where Peach says, I'm a woman, and she doesn't, talk about her struggles because she's a woman in society. Mario doesn't go, step aside, bitch. I'm going to do the thing because I'm a man. And then he fails, and then Peach is like, I can do it better, bitch. That doesn't happen. So 6, kind of high. Now Tim repeats his problems with the movie throughout his video several times, but he kind of gives his like general take at the beginning.
The film is basically, girl boss, Mario's stupid, Luigi's in a cage the whole time, Mario's completely incompetent, and it's only because of Peach's great leadership that anything actually happens.
And he basically concludes that Mario and Bowser basically have nothing to do with each other story-wise, and in reality, it's Peach's story, and Mario's just kind of there. We're going to address all this, obviously, but we're going to do it throughout the video in a semi-structured way. I'm trying, guys. He jumps all over the place in this video, so it's kind of hard. All right, first claim. He claims that Peach trains Mario. And he says that even though Mario fails at the obstacle course, Peach just kind of goes, you good enough.
Because Peach was invincible, a kung fu master with superpowers who trains Mario, and Mario fails every step of the way. And after Mario fails, she says, you were close enough, I guess. No kidding. Mario fails. And then she's like, well, I couldn't train you, sorry, but I guess we'll bring you anyway.
So first thing I gotta say is that Tim's framing on Peach's attitude in this is very funny because he frames her as a total bitch. And she really is not. I watched the movie twice. I rewatched it today. And I was paying a little closer attention just to see how right or actually how wrong Tim was. Mario almost completes the course at the end, but he fails at the last second as a joke, because that's a joke. And Peach takes him to the Kongs anyway. Tim's framing of it is like, might as well, you're useless, who cares? But in reality, it's like, you almost got it, dude. Like, that's really cool. Like, you're good. Like, you practically had it anyways. And she tells him, like, hey, No one gets it on the first try. She then kind of reveals that she did, but she does it like apologetically. It isn't like, I fucking did the first time though. You suck, Mario. No, she's like, I mean, you did good though. Like you practically did it. And Tim's framing of this whole thing is like, fucking Peach is like, you suck, Mario. Get the fuck out of here.
And Mario's like, but I'm a failure and I couldn't do it. And she goes, well, you're right, but I guess we have no choice.
Completely just untrue. There's this one part where Peach is talking to the mushroom people and basically saying like, I'm gonna go stop Bowser, we're gonna go talk to the Kong's gonna save the way, blah 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 blah. She's talking and then somebody's like, hey, who's that guy? Because Mario's with her. And she's like, that's nobody important. Or I don't remember what the exact line was, but it was basically like, that's nobody. And everybody goes, yay! Tim has a real big problem with this.
There's a point in the movie where Peach literally says Mario is nobody and they cheer. She tries to train Mario, but Mario fails. She says he's a nobody. Everyone's like, who's that guy? And she goes, nobody. And they go, yay. And it's like, hold on. Wait, what?
He calls this a literal plot point.
When people are like, who's this guy with you? She goes, he's nobody. No joke, literal plot point.
No, this isn't a literal plot point. This is what we call in the business a joke. Because it's funny that everybody cheers after she says, nobody. Yay! It's unexpected. It's just a joke, though. It's not like commentary on Mario's persona. This is not a literal plot point, motherfucker. What are you talking about? If I was a teacher and I told my students, hey, write down the plot beats of the Super Mario Brothers movie. If one of my students wrote down the part where Peach says, he's nobody, and everybody goes, yay, as one of the plot beats, I would fail them. Because, no, take that out of the movie. The movie doesn't change. Does Tim know what plot points are? Last time my conclusion was that Tim Pool doesn't pay attention during movies, or at least he didn't during Dune. I think this time my conclusion might be Tim Pool doesn't know how stories work. But I don't know. Maybe that's a little harsh criticism. I don't know. But there's evidence towards that being the case. So I'll get into it. He mentions the fact that Mario is just constantly failing and he can't do anything right, unlike Peach, which never fails at all and is invincible. That's the word he uses throughout the video a lot. He says that a lot.
And Mario fails every step of the way. Their first client, they fail because a dog gets mad and destroys everything. They go home and Mario told that he's a failure who's dragging his own brother down. And then he fails over and over and over again. Mario can't do anything right, and only in the end does he succeed because Peach gives him invincibility.
He brings up when Mario's fighting DK and he gets smacked a lot. And when he's doing the training course and he fails a lot, as examples of Mario just not being able to do anything right. In the midway point of the movie, when the Rainbow Bridge breaks and they fall down to the ocean, he also brings that up. And he brings up the bullet bill thing at the very end. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he brings up different stuff as well, but those are like the major things. Completely ignoring when Mario doesn't fail.
For starters, Mario is actually a very competent plumber. He has no trouble fixing the sink on their very first job. When the shower is flooding, he knows exactly what to do to get it to drain. And when New York is flooding, he knows that the people that are trying to fix it are looking in the wrong place, and he knows exactly where to go to fix the problem. The real tragedy of the movie is that Mario fails at being a plumber through no fault of his own. He's actually really good at it. He simply has not had any customers, and the one time he does, everything gets messed up through exterior means. It's not because he's incompetent.
Now, yes, he never technically completes the training course, but he was pretty much there. It was him failing at the end was a joke, pretty much, you know. Him fighting DK, yes, he does get punched a lot, but he doesn't fail. He succeeds. Not only that, we'll get into it a little more in a bit, but Tim really doesn't like the fact that Mario uses power-ups, and whenever he does, he succeeds. He thinks it's like a cop-out, basically. Like they're saying, like, oh, Mario can't do anything without power-ups because he sucks so much. But Mario maneuvers around Donkey Kong without power-ups decently at one point. He holds his own very well during the Mario Kart section. No power-ups in sight, by the way, so Tim can't go, it's a power-up. Mario isn't just like constantly failing. He does fail. Often it's for comedic effect, and other times it's because the hero needs to fail at a certain point, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Mario as a character is great in this movie because of his perseverance. That's like the message of the movie, basically. If you just keep trying, if you persevere, if you just keep going, you'll eventually get it. Peach is impressed by this and tells him after he defeats DK, like, you just kept getting pummeled, but you just kept on getting back up. And Mario's like, oh yeah, no one's ever told me that was like a good thing. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something like that. And that's like the message of the movie. Keep trying, and you'll get it, which is like playing a Mario game, at least some of the older ones. Look to my Super Mario 2 Lost Levels video. I fail a lot. Kind of like Mario and during the training course. I slip off things, Mario slips off things. It's like the video game. So yeah, even though Mario fails at certain points in the movie, you only really fail if you give up, and Mario never gives up, which is admirable. Tim completely ignores this and just goes,
The movies are woke.
yeah, he mentions his parents hate him, or his dad does not like him. It's like, yeah, it's set up for the ending, though. When his parents see him succeed, and they're like,
Hey, we were wrong. That's my boy. Yeah, I love you.
you know, it's kind of how movies work. Then Tim complains about Bud Light for a minute straight, which is annoying. Who fucking cares about Bud Light? Mario describes Mario and Luigi as not real Italians because they're Italian American, which was really weird, Tim.
That's right, they're not actually Italian, they're Italian American.
You would think that someone who is part Korean, that has been told by Koreans in South Korea that he is not a real Korean, would be a little more sensible, a little more sensitive about that kind of stuff. You know, just throwing the, you're not a real this ethnicity, you're not real this nationality, fuck you. Well, guess what? Here at the IJP Mexican Show, we accept all forms of Italians, you know? You don't have to be born in Rome to be Italian. I'm getting sweaty because of these lights. I'm going to take off my jacket. Tim's like, if you don't speak fluent Italian, you ain't a real fucking Italian. I don't know how to fit this joke in, but was he Italian? I don't remember if the guy was Italian in Spider-Man. You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. That was all the Italian Americans yelling at Tim Pool and AJ. Tim talks about Luigi not really doing a whole lot in this movie, which is kind of a fair point. You know, if you don't like that he doesn't do much.
Luigi wasn't even here. He was in a cage the whole time.
I am very firmly on Team Luigi, and I feel that Luigi's been done dirty many a times in the past, so I can understand this. But he says this.
Now that I kind of took issue with because Luigi is portrayed throughout various movies as being goofy, silly, and scared, but still player 2.
Player 2 is like a joke. It's the butt of the joke. Like, you're player 2. We're not equals. You're player 2, dude. Not only that, but Luigi, being Luigi, Luigi's like the butt of the joke. That's been the joke on the internet for years. Like, he's the butt monkey. You know, if I you Mario, nothing ever goes right for me. I'm Luigi. What is this revisionist history from Tim? Like, oh, Luigi was mighty in his own right. Like, no. Also, look at his games. He mentions them later, but he skims over Luigi's Mansion real quick because Luigi in those games and Luigi in this movie are pretty close in terms of like the characterization of them being like, whoa, Mario, you know, like, which is funny because later on he's like, oh, Princess Peach has to be the damsel because the games. Ignore the games where she's not though. But we'll get into that later. Okay, Tim says a lot that this is Peach's story, and Mario's just kind of here along for the ride.
This is Princess Peach's story because, you know, she's the one who is invincible and never actually fails at any point of the movie. And Mario and Luigi are only there because an accident happened. And Mario's story in this is ancillary to the main plot, which follows Princess Peach.
If this is Peach's story, this is literally the shittiest story I've ever fucking seen in my life, dude. This is the story if this is Peach's story. If Peach is the real main character and this is Peach's story, this is what the story is. Peach's kingdom is going to be under attack, at least she thinks it is. A fat Italian man shows up and is like, por favore, hermano, I don't know how to speak Italian for real. She's like, okay, dude, I'll take it if you have what it takes. Mario shows that he basically has what it takes. She's like, okay, let's go, Mario. They show up to the Kong Kingdom. Peach is like, give me the troops, please. And the Cranky Kong's like, hell nah. And then Mario's like, I'll fix this. I'll be the proactive one and fix the situation against your wishes, Peach, because you're like, no, it's a bad idea. And then Mario does that while Peach watches, and then they get the troops. Then they're on the Rainbow Road. They lose the troops with the whole thing. Mario and Donkey Kong fall into the ocean, and she goes, Mario. Oh no, that she doesn't say it like that. I'm thinking of Odyssey. Oops. I was literally thinking of at the beginning of Odyssey when she goes Mario. But anyways, they're lost. She's like, I gotta go back to the Mushroom Kingdom empty-handed. She goes back. Bowser shows up. She gets captured, forced into marriage. She is at the altar. She has a power-up. Just remember that for later. She uses a power-up to escape, does some stuff. Mario and DK show up and help her even more because she almost got Luigi killed, which is keep that in mind for later as well. They show up in Brooklyn and she's helping fight. She gets captured, is not captured but like restrained, and then she kicks a shell and passes the power star to Mario, and then Mario and Luigi save the day. That's a really good story about Peach. Yeah, she's totally the main character. Yeah, that's a really compelling story. That's like she's definitely the main character. Definitely has a three act story structure. Yes, no, just straight up no. No, you're just wrong, Tim.
Just because Mario isn't concerned directly with Bowser from the beginning doesn't mean that he is not important in this story. He's actually very directly connected to Bowser because Bowser has his brother and he needs to save him. Not only that, but it's almost a trope for the hero's interests to get kind of tangled up with the bigger universe at large. For example, God of War 2018, Kratos and Atreus, their real goal is to release the ashes of his dead wife upon the highest point in all the realms. Nobody would argue that it's actually Freya's story, since Freya is more directly connected to Boulder than Kratos is. That would be stupid.
It's the Peach movie. It's a movie about Peach, not Mario.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned this. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but Mario's the one who decides to fight DK. He's proactive in that decision. Nobody's like you got to fight DK, Mario. Mario's like, no, I don't want to fight the DK. No, he's like, I'll do it. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, Tim blames the power-ups a lot. He's like,
the issue I have with this is that the entire movie, Mario is incapable of doing anything. He's weak, he can't fight, and it's only when given power-ups does he stand a chance. Princess Peach, not so much.
It's funny. He's like, Mario can't do anything. But then, since that's not true, he has to say, unless he has power-ups, and that's bad because Mario never uses power-ups in the normal games. He's always capable on his own. The power-ups never help him. And he brings up Mario 64 as an example, which if you've seen my Mario 64 review, you should know that the like 4 power-ups that are in the game, they suck. So yeah, pick the game that has no power-ups basically, or power-ups that work in a traditional sense. Yeah, that's good. That's good framing, Tim. Truthful? Probably not. But, good framing. Oh, he just needs power-ups in Mario 3, the game that introduced a whole bunch of iconic power-ups. No, that didn't happen, guys. No, he's no good.
Entire movie, Mario is incapable of doing anything. He's weak, he can't fight, and it's only when given power-ups does he stand a chance.
Mario might not physically be strong, but he is strong in the fact that he never gives up. He is very persistent. He has a lot of willpower. He's strong in that way. So the idea that he's just a little bitch boy, a little weakling bitch boy, is just completely untrue.
Oh yeah, Tim compares the power-ups to basically just magic. And then he compares the Force to magic.
And only through the power of magic are they able to actually get anything done. Luke Skywalker is aided by magic.
No, the Force is not magic. Get out of here. I don't agree. I disagree with that assessment. Don't call the Force magic, please. That's stupid. That's like calling Jesus magic. Like, oh, it's a magic man. He says that the Force is good because it's not something that just makes Luke better, just like flat out with nothing backing it up. It's basically something that comes from within. He also brings up Iron Man, saying like, yeah, he has the Iron Man suit, but it came from within because he made it. And he gives a third example. I don't remember what it is though. But it's funny because he forgets that the mushroom isn't just like a flat out, like, you are now better at everything power up. Enhances what's already there. He brings up the fact that Mario is very agile at the beginning of the movie, but then when he gets to the Mushroom Kingdom, it doesn't seem like he is as good.
In the beginning of the movie, we see Mario running and jumping and vaulting over fences and sliding down poles. And you're like, wow, he's actually really good. They're making a point in the beginning of the movie that Mario is actually good at running and jumping and climbing. But as soon as he gets into the Mushroom Kingdom, all of that goes away. He's incompetent, and Princess Peach is actually the one on the adventure, not him.
Of course, if you compare the obstacle course that he does in Brooklyn, it's a lot more simple than the ones in the Mushroom Kingdom. So you can see why he'd be good at one and not so good at the other. But even then, when he has the mushroom, he can still kind of maneuver through the Mushroom Kingdom one from the get-go. It takes him some time, but he figures it out in a day. So, it's almost like the mushroom in that situation is enhancing what's already there that we saw at the beginning of the movie.
It's almost like Tim didn't pay attention to the movie.
No, he paid attention, obviously, because he mentioned it, but
critical thinking, analyzing, that's so good. I like to talk about the Civil War. My name is Tim Pool.
Mario saves DK. DK almost fucking dies, and Mario's like, I'm gonna save this man. No power-ups either. He says the real hero at the end of the movie was a superstar, because anybody could have grabbed it.
The real hero was the superstar. In the end, we learned that Mario was irrelevant to the story, because any person who grabbed that star could have defeated Bowser. It could have been Princess Peach.
Fact check false. Not anybody could have grabbed it, because anybody, you think Spike could have saved the day, Tim? What does Spike do when he sees all the stuff coming into Brooklyn? What does he do? He turns around and runs like a coward. Now Mario runs too, but Mario doesn't run out of cowardness. Mario runs because I gotta get out of the way. But Spike runs because he's a coward. If Spike was in the situation Mario was, you think he would have kept on trying? No, he would have given up. He's been like, hell no, I'm not dealing with that giant dinosaur man, giant spiky turtle. Hell no. No, not everybody could have just grabbed the Power Star, because not everybody would have been in the situation where they failed multiple times and kept on trying, and then eventually got into the situation where they could have actually succeeded despite all the failures, it's almost like the message of the movie is keep trying, keep going, you'll succeed eventually, don't give up. So, Tim Pool complains a lot about the power-ups. I already established that. He does not mention the fact that Peach needs a power-up to fight Bowser at the end. She needs the Ice Flower. My camera stopped recording. She needs the Ice Flower. Without it, she can't do anything. Like, yeah, she can like ninja kick Bowser, but she does that in Brooklyn, and there's this one scene where Bowser smacks her and DK at the same time. And eventually we see her that she's like restrained by the Koopa Troopas. So, I mean, Peach can't really take on Bowser without power up, so why didn't you mention that? Why didn't you mention that, Timmy? Did you forget? Maybe. Are you being dishonest? I don't think so, but we'll get into that later. Tim has a real big problem with Mario and DK being eaten by Unagi.
Mario and Donkey Kong are then, unfortunately, washed away into the ocean where they're eaten by a giant eel. Princess Peach, however, escapes, rescuing Toad, and says, let's get back to the kingdom. We're on the Mario Karts, and they lose. Mario loses, and then falls into the ocean, and he goes, wow! And it's like, okay, I guess Mario just can't do anything right.
Which is funny, because have you not seen a movie before, Tim? Have you not heard the story of Pinocchio? Have you not seen Finding Nemo? Have you not heard the story of Jonah and the whale? This story trope where the hero fails and is literally in the belly of a beast at the lowest point. Duh! Like what? This is a normal thing in movies. It's not because like Mario just sucks at everything. Let's throw him in the giant eel. No. It's there for a reason, for a story structured reason. It's the beat where the hero fails. Now Tim would say, but he's been failing this whole time though, and Peach has done nothing wrong and is invincible. Peach couldn't beat DK. She needed one Mario to try. And not only that, once they're out of Unagi, they're fucking kicking ass, man. Fucking kicking ass in the Mushroom Kingdom when they fight all the Koopa Troopas and stuff. Come on. Mario just constantly fails in this movie. Get out of here, man. Oh yeah, he says that Peach basically saves the day because she fights Bowser at her wedding, at her forced wedding.
Princess Peach, who is basically holding off Bowser with her ice powers and blows up King Bob-omb and basically, saves the day.
Completely forgetting the fact that her actions almost lead to the death of Luigi. So Luigi's being lowered into the lava with the chain and whatnot. She freezes the chain, so yeah, she saves him there. But she blows up. She throws a stick with fire on it to blow up Big Bomb. Then realizes the chain got unfrozen, is spinning around again, so she goes to freeze it, but Big Bomb explodes then, because that was obviously going to happen when she lit the fuse. Explodes, it knocks her out, she loses the power up, she's not strong enough to stop the chain, so if DK and Mario didn't show up at that precise moment, Luigi'd be dead though, so you know. And it's not even like, oh, but it was actually DK that saved Luigi. It's like, yeah, for like an extra like 4 seconds, but then Luigi would have just fallen into the lava because he lets go of the cage, and Mario shows up with the tanuki suit. So yeah, the idea that she saves the day single-handedly or whatever, fact check untrue. Fact check false yet again. So the claim that Peach never fails at any point is untrue. She fails in that regard. She almost gets Luigi killed with her negligence of blowing up explosives, and also at the end when Mario is kind of beaten up in the pizzeria. Her and DK show up and they get smacked around by Bowser, and she gets restrained, like I mentioned, like 3 times at this point, by the Koopa Troopas. So
Doesn't fail at any point except when she does, though.
People have said, yes, but Mario and Luigi saved the day. Sort of.
no, they definitely saved the day. They don't kind of save the day. They definitely saved the day. You know what Peach does when Bowser goes for the nuclear option? She goes, 'cause that's all she can do in that situation. If Mario wasn't there with his Tanuki suit, what was going to happen? Big kaboom. Big boom boom. Man, how much boom boom was in this movie now. Damn, I forgot about that, man. So, Tim and many others have said that it's Mario's fault that he messed up Brooklyn. He brought all this stuff there. Let me remind you what actually happens in the movie. Mario sees the big bullet bill boy, goes after it, decides, I'm not going to let this thing blow up the Mushroom Kingdom. He gets his attention. Props to Mario. He actually successfully used the tailspin for Mario 3. That thing's range sucks, dude. But Mario's like, I'm going to do this real nice. And he smacks him in the eye. Props to you, Mario. That's not an easy thing to do. He gets it. He gets it to chase him. You know, gets his tension away. And he thinks, I'm going to throw it in this pipe. Now, the pipe doesn't directly, exclusively lead to Brooklyn, right? So it's not like Mario's like, I'm just going to let it blow up. I'm going to let it blow up in Brooklyn. Screw Brooklyn. I hate it. Brooklyn. I can't say Brooklyn right when I'm doing the Mario voice. That's not what happens. He's like, he gets it to go into the pipe so it goes away somewhere else. And we see, it doesn't even like hit Brooklyn. It explodes in the middle of like subspace or whatever. And then everything starts to get like, the time-space continuum like starts to warp into Brooklyn. Would you have guessed that would have happened? Could anybody could have guessed that was gonna happen? No, it's kind of an asshole move by the writing team, you know, like it blew up and then they're in Brooklyn because woo, you know. So I don't blame Mario. You can't blame Mario for that. Well, what's the alternative? Let the Mushroom Kingdom fucking die. Like, no, that's not gonna fucking happen. What are you talking about? What do you think I am, Lugia would just go, oh no, let everybody die. That's not me. I'm a Mario, evidently. At the end, he says that Mario is hiding.
And then Bowser beats the living crap out of Mario, and Mario is hiding inside a building thinking, you know, I'm going to give up. I can't do anything. I'm powerless. He couldn't punch. He couldn't jump. He couldn't do anything.
In the pizzeria, when in reality, he just like, Bowser sees he's there. Bowser knows he's there 100%. He just like moves over as to not get like fire spat at him or anything. And then Bowser taunts him. Is like, oh, you bitch, you know? And Mario's like, hesitates there. And Bowser's like, yeah, I fucking knew it. But then he gets out of the gets out of the pizzeria. So it's him being like, he's hiding. Look, this is false. Also, Tim says this.
And he walks outside and he goes, let's go. For some reason saying let's go.
Do you know what movie you're watching? Do you know what characters are on screen right now? What do you mean? Why does he say that? What do you mean he said that for some reason? Oh, that's right. He thinks that he doesn't think they're real Italians. That's right. Sorry. Screw you, the bull. Yeah, the whole thing with Peach helping Mario get the star instead of her just grabbing it. Peach, again, the situation, I wish I could show footage of this, but I don't have footage. And even if I did have footage, I probably got it through illegal means, so I'm not showing anything, right? But Peach, I almost said Peaches. Peach is being restrained by the Koopa Troopas. She can't really move. She's kind of like wrestles out for a second just to do something. Throws a Koopa shell. I think she throws it at Kamek directly, because Kamek in that scene is holding the Power Star with a little bit of magic. So it's not like Tim says like she could just go, I'm invincible now. No, that's Tim and his framing again. That's not feasible. It's not a feasible thing they could have done in that situation. And if they did that, Tim would have said, that just happens out of nowhere, which would have been right. Because no, she can't just grab it. She can't. Why didn't she grab it? What do you mean why? No.
What ends up happening is Princess Peach kicks. She grabs a turtle shell and hits the superstar over to Mario, and Bowser goes, no, that's mine. And then Mario jumps for it, and then Bowser breathes fire, but then all of a sudden Luigi blocks it with a sewer lid and says, as long as we're together, nothing can hurt us. And then Mario and Luigi both jump and grab the star, becoming invincible, and then they defeat Bowser.
In the famous words of Jack Black,
that's fucking teamwork!
He kind of glosses over the fact that Luigi saves Mario at the end. I thought it was heartwarming. Again, Luigi not being in the movie, I feel bad for the man because, it's Luigi and he has a massive L on his forehead constantly. But, it was a nice moment at the very least, And them both getting the Power Star was nice. Luigi being as capable as Mario once he gets the Power Star, I don't know how I feel about that, but it's the end of the movie. It's fine. It's fine. Is it consistent? Maybe not so much, but I'll let it slide. So Tim mentions the OG games a lot. He also talks about Super Mario Brothers 2, this version where you can play as Peach, as kind of like a counter to people saying like, hey, you can play as Peach. You could play as Peach in this game. She's capable. She's not just a damsel in distress, which Tim mentions a lot. I don't know why he says this, but at this point he says, but she's still in a dress.
Created the idea that ever since Mario 2, Princess Peach was not just a damsel in distress, she was also a valiant character in her own right. However, she's still very much wearing a dress, and she still very much is a damsel in distress, because it turns out that game was all a dream.
What do you mean, though? What do you mean by that? I don't know that, does he have a problem with the jumpsuit in that one scene? Or is it, more nefarious? I don't know, dude. One thing I personally like, though, at the end when she does the training course and she floats, like she does in Mario 2, I thought, hey, that's good. I like that. Because if that wasn't in the movie, I would have been real mad. But that was in the movie, so me likey. He brings up the second game, the fact that he can play as Peach and whatnot. But he says, but at the end, it was a dream, so it doesn't count. But, they're all fake, though. Like, what? Is Tim really, arguing, Peach being disabled is not canonical to the Mario story. There's not even a fucking Mario story, bitch. It's a game that you can play. It just seems like a dumb argument. It was a dream at the end though, so it doesn't count. Completely ignoring this game where again you can play as Peach and it's not a dream. Just completely ignores this game, which is recent. It's not it's not from '88. It's from 2014 or something. I could have mentioned that one, but doesn't really help your argument, so just ignore it. Go stay there. Yeah, he says she's never been more capable than Mario in the games anyway, so why is she more capable here? Bitch, she could float. I know what he means though. I do kind of I get where he's coming from. But Peach could literally float. Mario can't float unless he has a power up. Peach can just be like, I don't remember what sound effect she makes when she floats, but I'm pretty sure it's something like something like that. She can do that. So what do you mean? Mario wish he could float. He then goes on to say that he has no problem with a more capable Peach in a movie.
You want to make a movie where Princess Peach is not a damsel in distress? I got no problem with that. None whatsoever.
Which is funny because what is this video then? What is this video you're presenting us with then? I have no problem with this, except I do. Which is why I'm making this video. It's completely fine, except when it isn't, which is now.
But why make Mario goofy and incompetent?
He has a big problem with the Mario being so goofy. Ooh, Mario. Mario's never goofy in the games. He is very fucking serious. It's a me serious man.
Again, I get where his head's at, but also, what's so bad about him going when he's falling to his death? Unless you want him to scream I'm not gonna scream. Unless you want him to scream when he's dying, like when he's about to die in the middle of the ocean. Like, does Tim, like, is that what you want, Tim? I know that's not what you want. You want him to be like, I don't know, actually. What do you want? You want him to be like more like fucking jacked? You want Mario to just be like, fuck yeah, it's me, Mario. I'm a very serious man. Yes. I'm gonna have sex with the princess. Like, what do you, is this what you want Mario to be doing the whole movie? I'm a creep by that beach. Like, what do you want, Tim? What do you want? Yeah, I mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, he talks about the characterization of Lugia, and is like, he's kind of silly in some of the games and some of the movies. He says movies, I think he means TV shows. He's kind of silly in some of the games and whatnot, but he's still capable. It's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But just completely passes over, just like jumps over real quick Luigi's mansion where he's all like, Mario, like just completely ignores that. Which is like, okay, Tim. Also, he said, I don't remember anything about Smash meta, but he mentioned Smash Brothers Melee. And he's like, and Luigi was pretty good in that game. There's a lot of people that are very upset about that. People that agree and people that disagree. Because of Tim's comment saying that Melee Luigi is good. Is that true? I don't fucking know. Fucking Melee people are insane. I don't care about Smash. I don't care about your silly party game. Tim says this movie's basically like Star Wars, The Last Jedi, which, it's making me so mad.
It's basically like Star Wars. It's like The Last Jedi.
You're making me so mad, Timothy Pool.
He says it follows the woke feminist tropes. The woke feminist tropes of Peach flirting with Mario. Yeah, the woke feminist tropes of Peach never mentioning that she's a woman. Just never mentioning it, not being like, Mario, don't you know that as a woman I have these struggles? Everybody knows that feminism is all about never mentioning that you're a woman and that you have it hard in life because you're a woman. We all know this. It's a well-known thing. Yeah. Tim was watching She-Hulk and was like, oh, this is the Mario movie, isn't it? He mixed up the two. That's what happened, guys. That's why I think it's Mario's woke, because he was watching She-Hulk. Me and my girlfriend, the first time we watched it with one of our mutual friends, which is very anti-woke, if you will, not down with the woke stuff. And at the end of the movie, you know what she said? She said, "Oh, I like that they didn't like try to force any woke stuff into it. Just kind of felt like a normal movie." And that's basically how I felt about the movie. It just feels like a normal ass movie. Which is why when I saw Tim's title for the video, I knew that it was insane. Tim Pool is terminally online. You're gonna, if you really want to, which is so funny because it's what the woke people do. If you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into talking about that kind of stuff, that's what the woke people do. They see racism and sexism everywhere. And that's what Tim seems to be doing in this case. He sees wokeness everywhere. I'm going to give a shout out to my man, Lofty Pixels, because Lofty Pixels in a live stream at some point recently was like, women being competent isn't like proof of wokeism, which I wish I would have thought of that before I heard him say it, so I could just not give this man credit. But let me bring you back, Lofty, because you deserve the credit. That's a good way of talking about this stuff. Just because Preach is competent, it doesn't mean the movie's woke. And now Tim said, oh, a little bit more than competent if you ask me, because she doesn't fail at all, except that one time she almost fucking kills Luigi. Now, is the movie perfect? Yes. That being said, there's still some flaws. Gotta give another shout out here. Gonna shout out my man Flastic Phoenix, specifically Dawn. I'm sorry, Gator, you didn't talk about it, so I can't mention you in this video. Dawn mentioned the fact that Mario basically doesn't have an arc, really. He wants to, like, succeed and wants to protect his brother at the beginning of the movie, and that basically never changes throughout. His motivation is basically the same throughout. And I do kind of agree with that. I mean, it's objectively true, but I do agree that that's kind of a problem. The structure, the foundation for making a well arc was already there. If they had a little more time, if the runtime was a little longer, and if they put in a little more work to certain scenes, I feel like this feeling wouldn't be there in the movie, specifically on the unagi part. DK and Mario get out of unagi way too fast, and that really should have been a scene where they're both realize, like, oh, we feel like we're failures and that our fathers don't love us. And then they should have, like, kind of verbally worked things out. Instead, the movie just treats it like a joke, which, you know, isn't a bad thing. And if you know story structure and what's going on when your hero's inside of the belly of a beast, you kind of get, like, this is supposed to be the low point, and then they get out, and then they're amazing afterwards. But yeah, there could have been a little bit more work put into certain scenes just to make it feel more, not complex, just more whole, more solid, more other word that would work in this context. Yeah, so I obviously don't agree with Tim Pool. And listen, guys, it's not just because I like the movie and I'm like, I gotta defend the movie from people who don't like it because they're wrong. I'm only doing that in situations where they are completely wrong. And in this situation, Tim's terminally online, like I mentioned before. You know, my man AJ was very excited for the movie and was very, very disappointed in the final result. I believe he's actually called it a terrible movie. I don't know if he actually thinks that or is just very disappointed and wants to bring the point home. But I completely disagree with AJ. But you know what? I infinitely respect his opinion more than Tim Pool's. And that's despite the obvious. Despite him being who he is. Don't make me say it. Okay, I'm going to say it. Furry adjacent, you know. People call him furry, but I'm not going to go that far. Furry adjacent, though, which, you know. But I still respect him despite that fact that he's... Despite the fact that he's that. Now, Tim, on the other hand... Wait, you thought I was going to say because he's black? What the fuck's the matter with you? Tim cannot like the movie. And here's the thing. Tim, it's funny. AJ does not like the movie. Tim said he liked the movie, but not these aspects of the movie. I respect AJ's opinion 1,000 times more, 1,000,000,000,000,000 billion times more than Tim Pool's. Like, at least AJ's like, I didn't like it. I think these were problems with it, and I didn't like it. Tim's like, it's a thing that it actually isn't.
Now, I defended this movie a lot during this video, so you might be under the impression that I think this movie is practically flawless, which isn't the case. I want to make that perfectly clear. This movie's plot is very, very simple, and it could have been expanded upon a great deal. However, I do see a lot of people saying that it is borderline just bad or just almost non-existent, which I do kind of take issue with, because I do see the outline, the foundation upon a great story could be built upon. It's very simple, but you can definitely tell that they knew what they were doing when they were writing this story. They knew what a story needed, in theory. So I can be a little more lenient to this movie than I would be with others, because I feel like they made it simple on purpose. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't incompetence. Like I mentioned, the Unagi thing, they understood that the character needed a low point. Then again, they could have actually made it a low point and not just service for jokes. The vibe of the movie, like, the movie had the correct vibe. It had a good story vibe, is what I'm trying to say, basically. It had a beginning, had a middle, and an end, and it felt pretty much all connected towards the end, with the exception of Peach's backstory. They just kind of allude to it, and then it just gets dropped. Probably something for the sequel, but that was, like, the one moment where it was like, that felt like that was just mishandled completely. But yeah, I don't think this movie's a masterpiece or anything. They could have put a lot more, not detail, but they could have added a little more depth into the story. The movie was also just fun, which I enjoyed. If it was boring, then I definitely would be criticizing it a lot more. But it was never boring, and it was a very short movie. So if we got this thin of a plot in like 2 hours, then yeah, I'd be singing a different tune if you catch my drift. But since it was so short, I can't really complain, honestly, in good faith. Again, this movie, far from perfect. The story is very simple, but this video really wasn't about critiquing the story. It was just more about critiquing Tim Pool and his dumb point of view.
So yeah, that was Tim Pool's dumb movie take part 2. Yeah, if you haven't seen part 1, go watch it. Did you guys like Dune? Tim fucking hated it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave AJ, Dawn, and Lofty some love in their comment video, in the comment section of their Super Mario Brothers videos that they've totally made. I don't think a single one of them has made a video on Super Mario, actually. Go follow them on Twitter. Go watch their live stream. I'm sometimes on the live stream with them. Yeah. Go watch the live stream. Live streams, dude. Live streams for betas, dude. Fucking recording an actual video. That's how to fucking roll, bitch. Oh, get better internet. Oh, your internet sucks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that my internet sucks when I'm recording a video and I just upload it. I don't have to fucking worry about my internet now, bitch. Anyways, just playing around, gentlemen. It's okay. Just live stream all you want. It's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. You know, I don't think less of you. Anyways, enough of me just rambling and bambling. Enough of me rambling and babbling and making the stupid Mario voice. That's the end of the video. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Go subscribe or whatever to these gentlemen.